what was pointed out to me and what I read through was that this 1 year extension through 2031 is a part of their procedure that they always do with the coaches that extends it by 1 year so that the contract's at full length. You had pointed out to me before that you think that this is a recruiting move, that it helps things with coaches, that they don't have to say, oh yeah, I don't know what's going to happen after my contract ends. It removes that uncertainty. It doesn't affect his buyout. I have a problem, one, with the procedure. I think it's really stupid to just be handing out extra years to coaches. I know that it doesn't increase the buyout, but it just feels really weird that this is the only school who really does this of note. Secondly, the real conversation that we need to sit here and have about is Luke Fickell, minus the circumstance aside and the procedure aside, should he be talked about as being on the hot seat? Because I think that he should. You mentioned that he had a really difficult schedule. He had to play Bama this year. That was tough, man. That was a really hard game that they had to play against Alabama.
But at the same time, didn't bother about Bama. Sorry, I'm being petty.
That was at the beginning. That was the beginning of the year.
Okay. I'm trying to be petty. Continue.
To finish what I was saying, though, 7-6 in year one, regression to 5-7 in year two. They had the 27th ranked recruiting class this past year. They were 55th in the transfer portal. I am not seeing the direction of a program, Blake, that's getting better. I just don't.
Let me defend him for one instance. Joe, they're not backing him at all. The administration and fan base from an NIL perspective is not backing him.
Why did you go there then?
Well, he went there before it got like this. We didn't have TV revenue share that was coming before this happened. Let me throw this out there to you, and I'm just going to spitball it. Miami came in and took one of your starting safeties this year after you signed arguably one of the most lucrative deals, TV right revenue deals. It didn't matter. Joe, I'm going to be real with you. This ain't got nothing to do with Luke Fickell for me right now. This is a Wisconsin issue. Listen, longer the days where you're going to recruit and develop like you were and how you've been doing, you got to go out there and spend money and get top-level dudes. Joe, I got to be real. We just got done talking about tampering with Steve Sarkisian. Let me bring it into the high school realm of this. Justice Terry, the number one player in the state of Georgia, what did he say? Look, dog, I'm a Georgia Bulldog. I want to be a Georgia Bulldog. Texas came with a better NIL package. He told that to On3. Look, big dog, that's how the world's working right now. And either you're going to adjust to it and get this rolling, or you're not. Joe, they're not back. Miami could come in and swoop in on a TV rights revenue and take it right from under them. You mean to tell me Luke Fickell wasn't fighting for that kid? Either one of them.
Well, he was quite literally fighting with the kid. He told him he wouldn't let him get into the portal.
Well,
he blocked his.
Let me rephrase it like this then. The reason he's doing that is because he doesn't want to lose the kid, and he's pulling all options that he's got. He's not letting him go to the portal because, I mean, look.
Well, he also signed a 2-year contract, but at the same time, it's like, why force the kid to stay? He doesn't want to be there.
It sounds to me of a coach that doesn't want to lose and is losing his best players because the school and the administration aren't backing him. Dude, I swear it's what it feels like to me. You can't, in today's world, longer the days of development. A lot of these schools that, Joe, let's name the schools that have taken a step back. Who are they? And what do they not do? By the way, let's look at the schools that have taken a step forward. You know what two schools that come to mind are? Notre Dame and Texas. I mean,
and Michigan's another one too.
And Michigan. So now what? I mean, those are the things. I got another one. Hey, you want to know who spent the most money? Some of the most money that no one talks about? You know who went 9-3 this year? South Carolina. Shane Beamer went out and spent a crap load of money. Dylan Stewart's name ring a bell? Like, Joe, you got to do this now. I hate to say it like that. Now, this is a segment about Luke Fickell, and I'm sorry to take it non-Luke Fickell, but that's how I feel.
I think that's important to talk about with him, and I think to what you just expressed, the three teams that come to mind that like I immediately think of that were constantly finding 3-star guys and developing them into really good players, eventually NFL players. I think of Wisconsin, I think of Iowa, I think of Purdue. Those are 3 teams that did that all the time, and they all
have taken a step back.
Yeah, they all really stink right now. But as much as yes, you're true. It's true to say that Wisconsin, the financial commitment is just not there enough for Luke Fickell to take this thing and turn it into a real winner. My counter argument to this is sometimes you're not going to be dealt a great hand of cards. He took a great job with a recognizable brand. If he can't sell this thing a little bit more than he's doing right now, some of the blame still needs to go on his shoulders. If he can't galvanize the athletic department to financially support him better, that's on him. He needs to be able to do more. We're not talking about them going 8-4 or 7-5. They've been awful in these first 2 years. I have not seen any consistency from their product on the field with the way that they've played. And I know that they went down. They lost Tyler Van Dyke early this year, and that kind of hurt them. And Braden Locke didn't pan out, and as many would hope. They got Billy Edwards coming in from Maryland. I don't think that's enough of an excuse to lean on.
Can I throw another one out there to you that Wisconsin fans are going to hate?
Okay.
Before he got hurt this season, who was Florida's starting quarterback?
Graham Mertz. Jeez, that was almost a bad
Graham
voice.
Mertz. Graham Mertz went with a chaotic SEC football team in Florida and scored 25 touchdowns and had 2 picks. They said this kid was trash. People were putting him as the worst quarterback in the SEC before any snap got taken, and that wasn't the truth. Look, man, Luke, to your point, Luke has not made some great decisions. There's no coming back from that. Walking away from Graham Mertz was probably one of the worst decisions that he made. You're right. You can't put it all on the administration. You can put it on the administration of, listen, what teams, okay, at the current moment are profiting and are doing better? Well, it's the teams that, quite frankly, Joe, are spending money. And that's unfortunate, but it's also the truth. So I understand the extension. I understand the logic behind wanting to do it, but apparently the buyout stays the same. I don't think there's anything wrong with the extension if that's just how they do things. You're fighting over semantics at that point of how they do things. Wisconsin's got to get back to what they do, man. I mean, they got to.
Yeah, I think that the way that you just ended this here, there's no point in actually getting legitimately upset over him being given this extension because it's the procedure of how they do things. But it doesn't mean that we can't ask the question of, does the concept of him being extended and him being there for the long-term future, does that part of this make sense? And I still stand by no. I don't know what he has done. He has not swung a big recruit. He has not won a signature game that has made us feel good about him. I feel like other coaches that are in a similar situation as him, you at least see performances where you or a young player that makes you feel like, man, they're maybe right on the cusp. Matt Rule, who we've been critical of and we're talking about here, he's still got Dylan Raiola. There's still time for that spark, that fire to be caught for Nebraska. And he still recruited some really big names in the portal and in just high school recruiting. I'm pulling up Wisconsin's schedule this upcoming year, though, just to put into context what we could expect. They get Miami of Ohio to start at home, Middle Tennessee. They go to Alabama. They get Maryland at home. They go to Michigan. They get Iowa at home. They get Ohio State at home. They go to Oregon, host Washington, at Indiana, host Illinois, and then they finish with Minnesota. So they have
I don't see anything better than 6-6, 5-7.
I agree with you on that. I mean, at the very least, you've guaranteed losses against Ohio State, Michigan, Alabama, and Illinois and Oregon. That's 5 games right there. Or no, is that 6?
That's 6.
3. What do they have that's going to take them over the top?
A great personality. Isn't that what we say for 6s? And they got a good personality.
If he goes 6-6,
You get the analogy?
I got the joke.
With a good personality, you know?
Is 6-6 enough in your eyes for him to keep his job?
Yes, because I think they're stuck.
What? So basically, Luke Fickell's fucked, is what you're telling me.
No, Wisconsin is, because there comes a part where who's going to want to come in there when you let Luke Fickell, who was in the playoff when you hired him and you didn't back him? What coach is going to want to go there?
So how does he go back to being on the radar for massive jobs? Like how does he?
He takes a DC job at a very prestigious school and goes the Chip Kelly route, but then waits to get hired again. You know what? You know what I would have done? This is what I honestly thought Ohio State was about to do. I thought that Ohio State was when it kept taking long. I literally thought, I was like, you know what? As crazy as it might sound, I mean, he did it with Chip Kelly. I mean, like, to get out from under this, Luke Fickell could do this now. I don't know. If I was Luke Fickell, I would have made the phone call.
It's actually crazy to consider. I wouldn't be shocked if he doesn't pull a Gus Malzahn or a Chip Kelly.
We're about to talk about OCs here. I mean, listen, that's the path. That's the path, brother. Really. I mean, these schools and administrations that will not back you. I know Wisconsin fans are going to be in here and saying that they are. Bullshit, you are. Bullshit, you know that you're not.
I haven't seen the results. Like, what's the highest rated offensive?
What does people with money always do? What do they all do? When they first get money, what do they all do? They want to show that they got money.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm not going to just – brother, when I started better in my career, I'll just say it like this. I went and bought me a truck. I'm like, I'm doing for everybody else. I've been driving a Hyundai Sonata. I'm like, screw this. People want to show that they got money, even myself included.
I mean, you're spot on with that. And if you look at their recruiting in the 2025 cycle, the highest rated kid that they signed was
probably when he was in the top 150.
22nd ranked. No, he was 194. Nicholas Clayton.
There you see.
From Florida, of all places.
Joe, we're talking about them not being able to recruit a top 150 player.
They signed 2 4-star recruits. And then that's really 2025. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to say that you're onto something because it's kind of in front of our faces, but yeah, there is not enough of a financial commitment. He did much better in 2024, but it doesn't help that like he's already lost Xavier Lucas, who was one of his better guys.
Yeah.
The highest rated kid that he signed was Kevin Haywood, who was the 50th ranked offensive tackle in 2024. And the next highest was 120 with Ernest Willard Jr. But the rapid regression is pretty bad. To go from like 5 4-stars and then to go to 2, I mean, that's pretty blatant indicator.
Here's a real hot take. You ready? Sometimes when a coach, and this is going to happen with Kentucky, stay with me here, with Mark Stoops. Sometimes when you're going 9-3 and 10-2, someone takes you to your pinnacle that you cannot overcome. The previous administration before Luke Fickell, they took you to your pinnacle and you let them go for it because you thought that you could do better and you made a massive miss. The truth of it is, I say Kentucky's going to go through it. Joe, has Kentucky hit their ceiling? Every 4 years they'll get to 9 wins. Sounds good. That's the Kentucky way. Just be above 500. But there also comes a time where, you know, listen, I think that job has a shelf life. If you're not going to be recruiting the top players, and I'm telling you, you're not. The developmental piece of the game is over with. We just got done talking about that